All right, what's good, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Perspective Porn. I'm DJ Sienna Chanel, and I'm real I feel like I'm shiny. Now I'm glowing. I'll go with glowing more than shiny, but the weather dries my skin. So, I talked to one of my homegirls, Shanta, the NJ sex therapist, and she said she puts what is it? Alcohol and essential oils in her skin was amazing. I don't know about that regimen, but yeah. Um, Shout out to AJ, the videographer. He's on the mic today. Yes, you're gonna say hey. Say hey.
What's up?
We're gonna get so much out of AJ. I can feel it already. And shout out to my girl Bronte. Oh, and special shout out to Silk City Rich Grounds studio. That's where we are, my girl. Chanel Red. Shout out to Joe. Yeah. Z, what's good? I appreciate y'all in the space, definitely. So I was just looking at some covers. Aren't we getting these super juicy covers, magazine covers, I mean? Um Jonathan Majors. Mm. Isn't he in Ant-Man or something like that? Is he in that?
Yeah.
Okay. So Jonathan Majors, Rihanna and ASAP Rocky, right? Who else? I don't know. Those are the best ones I would really say right now. And really because of the conversations that Black people, I feel specifically, are having about them. Like emasculating. That's the word that I'm hearing. Um, that's the word that I'm hearing when I see not when I see these magazines, but it seems like what the people see with these magazines. Well, not all. We're not a monolith, I know, because I don't really necessarily agree. But yeah. So Jonathan Majors, I mean, that's Lovecraft, right? Love him. And whatever else he plays in, he's like the up and coming, new, Black guy, I would say, right? Like Michael B. Jordan is there too, but Jonathan Majors is pushing it. He did the cover of Ebony February. That's love and Black men, appreciation, Black people, Black History Month or whatever. And he has all the pinks and the flowers and the florals and you know what I'm saying? But he's also showing super messy, little messy Black man here. You know what I'm saying? He got the muscles out and most of he's sitting real like all of that. But yet and still because they see it's flowers, it's pink. He might have okay, Pusha T just recently as well was seen in, I say they're kilts. I don't call them skirts. Why is it okay that what are they? Are they Scottish? Is that who it is that wear kilts, right? We don't look at those men and be like, oh, something's emasculating about them. So why with Black men or I guess any other kind of man does it look like that? Especially when they were being fashion forward. There was some football players I've seen, right? During was that going to the Super Bowl or whatever? They had one or two of the guys had, I call them kilts, not skirts. But yes. And I don't know. I just feel like then we didn't even get into the ASAP Rocky and the Rihanna cover because they did a whole graph dissertation on the cover. That's what's going around right now. And basically saying all of the emasculating things about ASAP Rocky. And that Rihanna, is the one in charge. And I mean, well, let's think of it, right? This is the way I looked at it. I didn't look at it like anybody was in charge of anybody. Also he's holding the baby. In the picture, he's holding the baby. Oh no, y'all 1 minute, y'all mad because we say y'all don't take care of y'all babies, but now we got a Black man on here with the baby, and then y'all saying that's masculine. All right, whatever. The woman, Rihanna, who just had a baby, just performed the Super Bowl, pregnant with her second child, billionaire status, who everybody in the world knows is the one that's in front. Let's think about this is the cover of Vogue now. So all right, Jonathan Majors did Ebony, cool. Not saying that white people don't know about Ebony, but or the world don't know about Ebony, but That's us. Okay, cool. We talked that about all of that. Then Rihanna and ASAP Rocky does Vogue, the cover of Vogue. That's like international superstardom level magazine. Who is supposed to lead in that picture? Rihanna. Obviously, most of the others don't know about ASAP Rocky or know who he is or whatever. They might know of him, obviously know of him now, but they don't like listen to ASAP Rocky back in the day. They don't know the whole ASAP crew. It's like a million of them. They like young, you know, Wu-Tang ideal in that respect. Like they want, it's like mad at them. ASAP this one, ASAP that one. So like they don't know any of that. They just know, oh, he's with Rihanna now. So obviously, and she's, she's the edgy one, the sexy one, you know what I'm saying? All of that. Like, yes. Who's going to be on the cover with another man? What woman's going to be on the cover with another man? That's a celebrity that you're going to see them both focus like this. I think those are those like Jay-Z and Beyonce, right? Okay, but let's think about the levels of both of them. And then still, let's not play. If we're talking about the cover of a magazine aesthetically, we still going to look at Beyonce. She's still going to be a little more focal pointed than Jay-Z just because she's easier on the eye. Like, there's no other way to say that shit. Like, yes, Jay-Z, he can be like right there with her because obviously he's like billionaire, talented. Like, we know fucking Jay-Z. But at the end of the day, it's like Beyonce is going to get more of the shine because look at Beyonce. J-Lo and Ben Affleck, right? Same scenario. Like, Ben Affleck is Ben Affleck. J-Lo is fucking J-Lo. But like, you know what I'm saying? J-Lo's still going to be, I still think, the focal point just because she's more attractive. I mean, Ben Affleck is, I guess, an attractive white man in the world of like white men actors or whatever. But like, J-Lo is still going to be at the forefront. She gets all of, like, everybody, you know what I'm saying, is going to know J-Lo. Like, all these different communities. And then also like, okay, Ben Affleck. He's amazing in his own right. Just like Jay-Z is amazing in his own right. But so that's why Rihanna is going to lead the way on the Vogue cover. Not because, oh, I'm emasculating him and he's, behind me because he's with me and he's taking care of the children only. Like, come on, bro, chill. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like we got too much time on our hands. It's nation building time. Y'all forgot that part. No, I'm joking. But for real, we got too much time on our hands worrying about like the wrong things, I think. Like, let's focus on the fact, like, I actually am supporting the meme that's going around with ASAP Rocky and, a nice picture of him saying like the first black man to get a billionaire pregnant twice. Like, that's come up for him and his family, his life too. Like, if she gonna share, you know what I'm saying? She gonna share that. Like, obviously they have children, so go for it. ASAP Rocky, run, let her lead. I'm not mad at it. Is that bad to say? Ooh, let her lead. That's like that stirred my spirit. You know what I mean? In an interesting way. Let her lead. Like, wow, I know y'all don't like that. I know men don't like that. I know if this happens to be one of the clips, they're going to be like, oh, here she goes. I'm going to let her lead. Like, I mean, if I'm a billionaire, though, like, let me leave. No, I mean, like, I'm sure she can show him a thing or two. You can learn from there's women teachers, no man is your enemy. No man is your friend. Every man is your teacher. That's how we have to look at it. So, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean, and when I say men, obviously we're talking about all walks of life, Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to talk about this idea of emasculating. Like, I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. We want to, everything we see, we want this like, oh, I'm a man. This is my woman. I take care of everything. These are our children. It's our tribe. You know what I'm saying? Like, like, I don't know. I'm assuming that's what we're looking for. And that's wonderful. I love to see masculine men as well, right? Like, this is what they do. This is who they are. Like, that, their family, their protectors. The wife is, home and she's doing all those wonderful things. Like, that is amazing if that's how your home is like set up. You know what I'm saying? I think that's awesome. But I'm not mad at you. Gonna be mad? You're not gonna be with Rihanna because you want to be in charge. You're not gonna go with her. What about you? Are you gonna go with her? You gonna date Rihanna?
You talking to me?
Yeah, obviously.
I mean, Rihanna or a woman in that position is different.
Okay.
So I mean, I definitely find Rihanna attractive, but
Hmm.
it's about the roles people want to play in a
Right.
relationship. So
I
if
guess
I met a
so.
woman who was making a lot more than me, and we can discuss what roles people gonna play, then if I agree with it and we both agree, then we can move
Yeah.
forward. But maybe it's people that's just like, all right, well, since you are ahead of me,
I don't
do
want
your
to be with
thing.
you. Right.
No, I can be on the side and do you know this over here, and we figure out the rest. But
So I mean, basically, that means like since and I'm not saying all men because obviously ASAP Rocky is a man that's with her. You know what I'm saying? So like, and she's obviously making far more money than he is. But no, I mean like, so
the
that
the
means like
first time,
I don't wanna be with you because I understand that. I feel that we talked about this in terms of success before. Like I feel that way about myself with certain men. Like some men, it's like, yo, you doing exceptionally well right now and I still got shit to do, like, and get myself together. So, like, a part of me, yes, I see you, you fine, I like all that, but I'm not saying that I want to, like, oh, I gotta be at the same level as my man. I gotta make more. Like, no, I don't feel that. I just want to come to you correct too. Like, I want to be, you know what I'm saying? I want to be like, oh yeah, like I'm taking care of my shit. Like, I just would feel more comfortable. I don't know. And I don't know. I don't know. Did you have something? Because I'm stuck. Not that I'm stuck, but
well,
I
the
just
first
feel like,
time
mm,
my lady would throw it in my face, then I'm leaving.
what part of it? Throw what part in your face?
Just like try to sun me as far as her being more successful or making more
Um,
money. Because if I can say I can take the back seat, and if you saying that what we got is gonna be great, and it is,
yeah.
but the second you say, well, I'm the one making all the money and shit like that, and all right, then
And
you
I
can keep that energy, and I'm gonna just go get the shit that I can with, and I'll leave, and then you go find somebody that you can punk. But me playing my position as far as not being the main breadwinner and taking on other responsibilities isn't punking me. You talking down to me like that
right. No, I get
is
that.
punking me.
So
So you
so
can't be
with
the masculine one. No matter what the position is, I'm gonna always be the masculine one. You're gonna be the feminine one.
yeah.
You making money don't make you masculine. That just makes you have money.
It's just those I get it, but in terms of all of these like societal norms and things that we put on people and men and women, that's what we've decided to equate it all down to, make it boil down to the provider, the protector, or you know what I mean? You're like the nurturer, the home person. Like this is the way that we're saying like it's supposed to be. So I don't think that is masculine either. I do agree with you there. I just think that we start to turn it into a masculine trait and like put it on a woman if she is the one and then put the feminine traits on a man if he is not the one. That it's not. I agree with you. Um
So before you could continue, I wanted
yeah.
before if you was making $30 million a year for the next 5, 10, 15 years,
Yeah.
and you meet a guy who make $300 million a year,
Mm,
right? He's the breadwinner.
yeah.
You're still making bread,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So what's the difference? What is the big difference as far as him? He's making that much, and you're making what you're making.
Yeah.
But what if he don't want you to make that? Like, what is it? Where does it go, and where does it stop? As far as
I mean,
listen, the
what does that mean?
traditional,
He doesn't want you to make it.
like he wants you to be home. He wants you to be a housewife. Where does it stop? Because if you're a single woman and you start making all this money, but then you want somebody, most times than not, you're gonna want somebody who make more money than you. Most times than not. 9 times out of 10.
Mhm.
That one time you may accept that other guy because he has a whole lot to offer.
Yeah.
But on the other side, if you meet somebody who makes 10 times as much as you, are you going to take that role? The
I
biggest
mean,
problem in I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna be done.
go ahead.
The biggest problem in relationships now is a lot of women are making money, and that's not the problem. The problem isn't women making the money, but you can't have the same traditional roles, grandma, and auntie, and all, because they was working jobs, being teachers. Not saying that's not no, but it's not like a lot of money. And Pop was making $100,000 a year while Grandma making 30. So she was still able to come home while Pop is still out because he's not working a 9 to 5. Pop is working 12 hours a day, and you ain't making no $100,000 working no 9 to 5, not really
Mhm.
like that, unless one of these other tech jobs. But to put a button on it, my point, how are you going to be this business and career woman but still want not saying you particularly, but women still want that traditional role? It's called traditional for a reason. I mean, it's set up a certain way, so you got to play those positions. Now you make up a new name for it because it's not
Mhm.
traditional.
I think on like the emotional level, it's traditional. I'll say that much. I still think that in terms of the nurturing and caring for, that part of it is still traditional. I do that because my question earlier to you was like, just like you felt a way about about a woman saying to you, like it's a, oh, I'm making all the money. If they ever say something like that you would be out. You know what I'm saying? Which I can understand and respect. As a woman, if men, because men do sometimes throw those type of things around, you know what I'm saying, that are we supposed to just take that or decide that, I don't want to be disrespected or feel like in that way either. So like for me, that's going into even more tradition, that women from your grandmothers, your aunts, your mom, all of them way back will tell you always to make sure that you have something of your own too, just in case, because men at times do utilize that type of power that they have in a relationship when they are the breadwinner and you are just at home, and not, I don't want to say just at home, but you're the one that's at home. It does become a bit, it can, on within the specific relationships, not everybody, obviously there are, I'm sure there's wonderful husbands that take care of everything, all of the bills, and the wife is happy at home and he never mentions that he's the one that pays all the bill. I'm sure that exists. You have to do disclaimers because people want to tell you like that, oh, that's not always how it always is. Got it. But definitely when someone is paying all the bills, making all of those types of decisions, they can throw that in your face at times. And as a woman, I guess once again, you're supposed to just kind of understand that, or take that, or, talk to your husband or mate or whatever it is through that. Like, kind of don't treat me in that way, or don't talk to me like that because I do these things here. You know what I'm saying? That are valuable as well to like the family, the home, the relationship, or whatever. So I think that that's what we've seen more and more of, like we've seen for all these generations in the past, as opposed to the other one, obviously, you know what I'm saying, where it's like a woman telling a man that. So now that there's a bit of, kind of even playing ground in terms of like people making the same amounts of money, or the woman possibly making more. Again, I think that some things have to change. So I understand this traditional thing. Like, I think it's more traditional in terms of energy, more than like traditional in terms of like what will work in terms of a household now. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I do believe that like if I am the breadwinner, I am gonna be the one that has to probably work a little bit more as well. Like normally, or I'm doing a few things a little bit more or more frequently. If I'm making more money, 9 times out of 10 you are, um, or you're managing something larger or whatever in whatever ways. Um, so yeah, in that way, maybe I'm not the one that's like at home cleaning the house, cooking the dinners. You know what I'm saying? Picking up and dropping off all the time. Maybe I'm not the only one doing that because I wouldn't be able to, even if my husband works and he doesn't make as much money as I do, he still would work. So it would have to be some sort of like communication between each other to figure out how we can make this balance and work for a family. But as the woman in the relationship, that part of it wouldn't change for me as like what I would be to my husband in terms of support, in terms of love, in terms of nurturing, in terms of like, making a house a home, and all of those things. Like that wouldn't change to me, but there may have to be some alterations in day-to-day life or like how we handle bills or whatever it is. I think that's where it would differ, but not. So I do agree with you in saying like it doesn't, no matter if you make more money or not, that's not being masculine. You know what I'm saying? That's not masculine. It's just, yeah.
It may be
The roles
considered.
may have to change a little bit.
It may be considered mostly a masculine trait or uh, attribute to take care of all the bills and be making most of the money
Mhm.
and stuff like that. But again, there's somebody out there who makes a lot of money, a woman out there who makes a lot of money, who has a husband that's a house husband or
Mhm.
house boyfriend or whatever, and their relationship works perfectly fine because of the dynamic.
Yeah.
So that's what it's all about. If you can come in and say, okay, I make 750,000, my man makes 200, but I'm still going to submit to him and do certain things, even though I may have to work more. You know, it's about those roles when we take off our work clothes.
Yeah.
That's what
And
it's
that's what I'm
mostly
saying.
about.
Like
Because we
you're
don't know
still
how
a
it is in
woman. I'm
Rihanna.
still like a woman to this man. You know what I mean? No matter what. Like for me anyway. And that's like I think that's another part of it. I had a full conversation with a friend saying like how I might scare men off just based on like my energy. You know what I'm saying? Like how I talk, how I whatever interact in that way. Um But it's funny to me because it's always very funny to me because when I'm actually like engaging with a man, like interacting with a man, like one on one, I'm submissive, quote unquote, whatever that means. You know what I'm saying? Like I get what it means, but it's like I'm submissive because that's what I want a man for. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what the energy for me is when I'm with a man in a particular type of a way. You know what I'm saying? Whereas like in the world, it's different at times. Like you have to maneuver through the world sometimes a little differently. When you're representing yourself in all kinds of industries and all kinds of situations as a woman, just yourself, whether you're single, married, or whatever. So it's it's interesting, child. We'll be talking about that forever. So I was looking up the definition of a word that I don't really even think exists. But Bronte did tell me some examples that I guess kind of make it more clearly. Excuse me. That's toxic femininity. We've definitely heard toxic masculinity, and I feel like toxic femininity is I don't really my okay. My take on toxic femininity is most of the time it's women upholding toxic masculinity. I don't really see the toxic femininity part, but Bronte told me like it could be like a woman crying to get what she wants. Like she know that it affects her husband in a way. And that like she's using her feminine whatever to manipulate in some way. So in that respect, I guess I can now like, you know what I'm saying? Get it in a way. But like I wanted to read this really quickly because I thought it was interesting. So when I just Google it like randomly, toxic femininity, it says the adherence to the gender binary in order to receive conditional value in patriarchal societies. I don't even know what that means. I will have to sit and like digest all of the words. The rest of it says it is a concept that restricts women to being cooperative, passive, sexually submissive, gentle, and deriving their value from physical beauty while being pleasing to men. So I guess it's like what I said, like you're using your feminine graces to manipulate. Like it makes you stay in this space though. That's what this is saying. I don't even really understand. Here's another thing that says examples of toxic femininity, talking over people and belittling them, especially fellow women. I feel like that's more like if we have to call something feminine or masculine, I think talking over someone and belittling someone is more, I want to say it's more masculine in terms of like being aggressive because, you know, women, like if we're going to think like meek and mild as a woman, then you wouldn't talk down, belittle, talk over people. That's not feminine, so to speak, you know? So like, I don't really think that that's an example. But then I guess, you know, if you want to go into like a catty conversation, maybe. But it says making fun of another female to get the attention of a man. That I don't know if that's I guess is that toxic femininity? I don't know. And then shaming men for being too soft or having feminine traits that do not live up to the societal expectation of what a man is. That is toxic masculinity. That's the over like focus on patriarchal societal masculine norms. That's not toxic femininity at all. That's actually toxic masculinity. So I still don't really know what toxic femininity is, if that even exists. I feel like these are one of those like, buzzwords that people want to talk about and go around, but it doesn't really exist. Like toxic masculinity, I can see how it exists. I mean, and that's very easy to find the definition of qualities such as violence, dominance, emotional illiteracy, sexual entitlement, and hostility to feminine. That's toxic masculinity, totally. And that doesn't mean that being masculine is toxic. No one's saying that. It's meaning that like overtly hyper extra way of all of that, and then forcing those type of norms on everybody else and saying you're not man enough if you cry, you're not man enough if you don't do this, you're not woman enough if you don't live like that. Like that's the toxic masculinity part, not like, yeah, not that. So I don't know, Bronte, or anybody out there, if you can tell me or explain to me what toxic femininity is, I would truly love that, because I don't really believe it exists. And I'm going to say this part too. It's almost like I look at it the same way as like when Black people say we can't be racist, right? Like we can be bigoted, we can be prejudiced, but we can't be racist. Why? Because when we talk about like race and oppression, like the oppressed race, nothing that we do like to not like and dislike white people, because that's the only, this, I'm not saying it's the only type of racist, but let's just be simple. Like it's gonna stop their progression. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing about it is stopping their progression. Like if I don't like white people, if I don't want to work with white people, like, well, you are the one actually that's probably going to be stopped in that progress if you don't want to work with white people, if you don't want to interact with them, not the opposite. So that's why we say like you can't be racist type of thing, okay? So then like on the other end, like toxic femininity, is it anything that can be overtly so okay, like feminine, that it is like overtly changing or altering the world? So, I mean, I'm thinking of some things that people would like to say is toxic femininity, but it would go more into like, you know, being gay, or being like, oh, you're like being flamboyant or something like that. Like that is where I would say some people would say there's a level of toxic femininity that, because here we go back to this emasculating conversation, going right full circle. Like there's this agenda to like, emasculate, Black men particularly, or like the world, like we don't want masculine men anymore. We want softer, more feminine men. I, you know, I don't think that the world wants that. I think that, some people want to be like that. And I don't think that's wrong if that's how some people want to be, but I don't think that the world wants that. And y'all niggas ain't doing that. So, I mean, right? Isn't it interesting? Like, okay, sorry, sidebar. Isn't it interesting when you talk of threesomes, right? Like, it's almost like expected that women are supposed to be sexually attracted to each other solely because like a man is sexually attracted to women. Like I kind of don't understand it. Whereas like if I were to even like infer that it would be two men and a woman, and a man would immediately say like, wow, like nah, or, or no, or like they're they don't want to touch, they don't want to do anything like that, they don't want to be, you know what I'm saying, like, or you'll have to be with a certain type of man that is open to that. But it's very understandable that a man that's heterosexual is like fully heterosexual, like, no, I don't none of that at all. But for a woman, there's like this conversation of like, oh, that's interesting that you wouldn't find other women attractive. It's kind of like, I mean, it's not that you don't find them attractive or you don't have sex with them. Like, that's a interesting thing. It's very interesting to me. Do you find that in threesomes? And I've recently learned that 2 women and a man is a threesome, but 2 men and a woman is a train, right?
I think it all depends on the people. Um, it's more likely for women to kiss and touch
Mm-hmm.
than 2 men to kiss and touch.
Right.
So that's why, and it's not really, really too many ways that 2 women can dominate a man, but 2 men can dominate a woman
Yes,
more
obviously.
likely,
Mm-hmm.
so that's probably why it's looked at like that. But yeah, it's just that's just kind of how it is. I mean, there's obviously been threesomes, foursomes where it was multiple men and one woman because she
Mm-hmm.
was running shit, and that's perfectly fine. But most men are attracted to women,
Yeah.
so at least openly attracted to women.
Right. There we
So,
go.
and they may not want to be looked at a certain way,
Yeah.
or maybe the guys. I mean, you gotta understand, women, we can't see how tight your vagina is. You can see how big our dicks are.
Yes, true.
So it can also be that. Let's say your man was open to you having another man. Let's say he got a strong 8 and you bring a nigga in here with 14. So then it's like, oh, he might, or let's just say they're the same size, but that other guy fucks you better.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure women have those same thoughts like, damn, what if she suck his dick better? She make him come faster and all those kind of things.
I mean, I
So,
guess so. I mean, I feel like once you're in that space, then it is what it is. Like, if you're already there and you're doing this, like, it is what it is. So like, everybody do their best performance, I feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, do what you got to do. Like, have sex how you normally have sex. And if you a motherfucking head monster, or you know what I'm saying, take it from the back like that, then, go for it. I think all is fair in love and war, as they say, and I include sex in that. I just do. So yeah, I don't know. You know, what's his name? D-Ray Davis. That's the comedian. Though he's the only one that I like outwardly know that has the 2 women living in the house scenario. I'm sure there's plenty of other men in the world. I've seen like regular men on social media that show they have a same scenario, like a similar setup. But he's like the only one I know like outwardly, like, because even like Nick Cannon, I got to talk about Nick, sorry. Even like Nick Cannon, he may not have, he has a lot of women, obviously, but they're like not all cohabitating, it seems. They like have their own. That's what's making it so difficult for him to get to everybody, because he hasn't figured out how to make them all work together quite yet and live harmoniously on the compound that they'll have to build for them and all the children. But yeah, so he's the only one I've seen that is like out here with the 2 women in the house. I think he said they have like separate sections, and then there's like a, you know, even middle ground. Like, there's none of that, like anything, no fighting, no cattiness, no nothing, like no arguing, all of that, like middle ground. We can all chill here together, but everybody has their own like separate place. Um, I don't know. He a Pisces. I knew it. Like, when I always look up the signs when I see those types of people, and he's a Pisces, and that sounds like what they always want. That's their dream come true, it seems. And yeah, if it works, is all I'll say. Like, if they're happy and he's happy, then like I don't see what the problem is. And I guess that's really how I feel about all freaking relationships at the end of the day. Like, we have to make a decision. Ultimately, I think it's the indecisiveness that's kind of fucking us all up at the end of the day. Like, nobody's perfect. It's just all in what you want to deal with. Like, my homegirl said that to me many years ago, and I completely agree. It's just all in what you want to deal with. Because relationships, I don't want no stinking relationship. No, I'm joking. I do. One of these days. One of these days. Yeah, so D-Ray Davis, he does have the, I guess, quintessential poly open scenario. Maybe. I don't know. But both of the women, they're very beautiful, but they do look similar, like a preference or type, which is cool. I'm all for preferences. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm for like a type, but preferences make sense. You know what I mean? Like everybody has a has a preference. But I think they can only be like damaging when you're not willing to at least like if you feel a connection with somebody that's not within your type and or preferences and you just deny all type of connection solely because they're not that. I think that's where preferences can become like dangerous. But I don't think it's wrong to have preferences. And I'm only bringing that up because, I go get into these conversations with a lot of different men that want to, I guess, kind of put it on me that I I refuse to talk to certain types of men. And it's not that. It's just like, don't you want to be with somebody that you're generally attracted to? So that's where I'm going to start first. You know what I mean? Again, like if I just so happen to be with a man or around a man and we end up vibing, clicking, we have this connection and he's not my preferences and or my type or whatever, then it is what it is. And then it'll be like, yeah, we just vibe like that. We connect. It's not anything like that. But initially, when you see, meet, whatever, a person, you do like you're looking for the attraction. Like that's 9 times out of 10 what it is for both of you. So I don't know. I asked a friend that the other day, like, am I supposed to just like not be attracted to the person that I'm with? Is that why I can't necessarily find a person that I like? Because I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Um, I feel like, that I'm very open. I've talked to all shapes, heights, sizes, like shapes, height, sizes. um, yeah. And and they're obviously I have preferences and all of that. But like that doesn't mean that if again, like I said, if I vibe, you vibe with me, like we can't possibly make something happen. I mean, the complexion thing, I think is I don't really obviously I have a preference. But it's also like I'm not gonna just be like, nah, you over there, whatever complexion you are, I'm not gonna talk to you solely because this is my preference. Like, no, if we vibe and I find you attractive, because you can still be attractive to me and not be a particular complexion. Same with height, same with size. Size for me starts to range a little bit. I can't front. Like, but that has everything to do. Okay, well, I'll say weight. Let me not say size, right? Like, well, no, not weight. Yeah, it's size. Because I don't mean like dick size. I mean like size. You know what I mean? And it's really more about like now it's showing me like your area of focus in your life. And we all have times where we go up and down the scale. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that I'm not judging, but it just depends on like where you are in that process. Solely because it's like this is something that I'm consciously aware of all the time is like what I'm eating, working out, like those types of things. That's important to me generally. So I just know like I'm not willing to be so heavily like around and or influenced from somebody that's not really a part of their like regimen, their routine, their daily like thoughts and patterns. I'm not. But I guess you can again, if you meet somebody, you match up with them, even though it's like we got two different lives in that way, and it just works, I guess it just works. But that's not ever anything I'm necessarily going to look for or towards if I see someone that's like dramatically out of shape, just solely because I know that's not a focus of yours. And maybe it was at one time, maybe you working on it right now, I don't know. But we'll have to be friends long enough to see if that's a reality or not, because I need someone that's going to be like, we need to go to the gym. You need to go to the gym. I need to go to the gym. Like, do this workout. Oh, we're like, I like talking about working out. You know what I mean? So those things are important to me. So I think that's really the preferences, like the things that are important to you. Worry about that even more so than like looks. Like it's a preference. It's for like money management. And then someone that also like, I know my strong suits and I know the stuff that I am not totally not afraid to saying like, lead me, show me the way. And that's from a man or a woman. And I don't mean a relationship, I mean like in life. Again, every man or no man is your friend, no man is your enemy, every man is your teacher. So like, I'm not, if certain things that I don't know about or I don't like study myself and like research or really read books and all this type of stuff about, I'm gonna just be quiet and let a person lead in that way because I don't know. But if I do know and I do have some research, you know what I'm saying? I'm most certainly going to, you know, want also another person that either is willing to take my bit of advice, I guess, and or like is willing to like work side by side with that knowledge that I have. So, you know, preferences, you can have them if you like, but I suggest you don't stick to them so quickly or so closely rather that you fuck around and miss your man or your woman. Cause yeah, I'm saying that to myself. All right, guys.